There we go. And then I go down. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. We are your hosts of North Sports Dynasty. Oh my God, I got too many things.
I feel that.
Right? Oh, I love the beginnings of our show. We are the hosts of North Sports Dynasty. I am one half of that, and Andrew Faubert LaFoubs. And that is the other half. Oh, I'm going to...
We'll figure this out someday.
I'll figure it out someday, guys. I'm disappointed. Anyways, that is Alex, mother effing Loosemore. How are we doing today, brother?
Oh, not too bad. Baseball up and running. Trade deadline coming up right away for the NHL. Yeah. All the sports there's lots of news in all the sports right now, so it's good. Keeping us busy.
Keeping us busy, keeping our show afloat. Not like me last year, the year before when I tried and I was like, yeah, it's going to be awesome. And then pandemic, and I'm like week 5 in, like,
yeah.
Yeah. Sports are coming back, guys. I promise. No. So we are the hosts, and this is our show. And we're going to start it off with some news. It's kind of news. We have something that people have been asking us about, first of all, and that has been the NFL draft bracket. What the heck is it? How the heck do we enter? And what actually is the rule sets and stuff like that? Well, first of all, if you checked out our video from last week, the 2-minute breakdown, I actually put the point system right in the middle of the video.
Yep.
So you can actually pause the video and write down the point schemes and stuff like that. But I will also have it on the web page this weekend. I'm sorry I've neglected the web page. A lot of people have came at me for that. They'll be like, hey, you got to always keep it in the green. I'm aware of that now, and I'm sorry. So we'll get into that here in a few minutes. I got a couple of cool things for you, first of all. Let's get one out of the way.
Yeah.
There's a hidden North Sports logo in this show. Jeez, let me hit the mic. Somewhere in this show today, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, there's a hidden logo somewhere on this show. Not at the top right corner. No, that's too easy. But there's a hidden logo. And if you find it throughout the show, you can either drop it in the comment section, and I'll timestamp it. And if you got it right, obviously, I will be like, hey, you got it right first. Or whatever the heck that word was. You can send us a message and say exactly where you saw it, and I will timestamp it. And whoever gets to us first and tells us where that little logo is hiding, you will get a prize. And the prize, I'm not going to tell you what it is, but you get a prize, and we'll send it to you. And that's what this show does. We like to give things away. So that's what there is. There's a little logo hiding somewhere in the show, and you're going to have to find it. So we got that, and then we got this point structure breakdown that everybody's been asking for. So let me get to this quick here. Let me make sure my camera, I gotta go this way for a second. Make sure I get a little bit more on the big board. All right, so first time I'm ever gonna put it on just me, Alex. I'm really sorry.
It's all good.
That's just me. Okay, so this point structure, ladies and gentlemen, let me get out of the way here. Maybe get back to the microphone here. So it's kind of hard to see, but let's go like this. Now, yeah, that's better. Okay, so if you have decided to bring us a draft that has Trevor Lawrence first, Zach Wilson second, Mac Jones third, Trey Lance fourth, and Jamar Chase fifth, okay? For example, that's what your top 5 is, and you decide to make a trade at number 4 and say New England's coming in, all right? Totally acceptable. This is just the top 5 we're deciding here, okay? The first one gets you 10 points because you got the team and you got the player right. The second one also gets you 10 points because you got the team and the player right. This third one right here, compared to what would actually happen, the actual draft, will say hypothetically 1 and 2 is obvious. We'll say the 49ers take Justin Fields, and we'll say Trey Lance does go to number 4, but it is the Washington football team that trades up for him. And we'll say instead of Jamar Chase, it's Kyle Pitts that's taken at number 5. What is going to happen there is you are going to have 10 points, 10 points. You'll get 5 points because you got the team right at number 3. You will get, what did I got here? 5 points for the trade. Now, here's where it gets interesting. If you screw up not only the team that trades up for the pick, but also the player that is picked, you lose not only all those points that are available, but you're going to get minus 10 points. So if you do decide to make a trade, it's going to benefit you because if you get both right, you do get the 10 points that you normally would, plus another 5 points. Yeah. These points, when added up, basically at the end, whoever has the most, they are going to win the jackpot, which is the 2 jerseys we got to give away. And we got one other thing that we're going to add into it. We're debating between, like the draft hat and something else or whatever it's going to be. But we got a couple of things on the mind that we're going to do. So all you got to do is get close to the draft, start filling out your brackets on a piece of paper, whatever. Start thinking who's going where, what teams need what. And if you think you can be the ones that have the most points at the end of it, send it in to us and we will get all the points on the live show going up on the big board. Everybody who enters will be up on this big board because it's going to be a long draft. And we'll be here live.
Yeah.
And we'll start updating. And whoever wins will know, right, live on show, because we're not doing the second and third round. That's more for Dynasty purposes.
Yeah.
So those are the 2 news things to get right off the bat here, ladies and gentlemen. I keep saying ladies and gentlemen. I should just say the people of the Dynasty world. Our fans. That is what you can do. That is where you can find it. So please enter this year, because the more people we got entering this year, the more fun it's going to be, the better live show it's going to be, the more interactive, the better. Which, speaking of interactive, depending on how far we go today, I may put the StreamYard link in the comment section and get it going today. Now, before we get into the major talking points today of Trade Center, me and Alex wanted to get into a couple of Dynasty things. And I brought it up to him as a little layup right before the show. That's my apologies. But I said right off the top of our heads, I wanted to start thinking of a couple of these players in Dynasty who we think will be the major players you want to keep and the players that you want to trade for. And this is going to be the offense is just growing and growing. And the offense is going to keep growing all across the league. And especially when it comes to Dynasty, wide receivers are valuable if you know that they're going to be getting the receptions every single week. The running backs are, always valuable across the leagues. Running quarterbacks are also very valuable. Oh my goodness.
Oh God, yeah. That's why Josh Allen was in most leagues the number 1 quarterback last year.
You're damn right he was. So, just off the top of our heads, Alex, give me 3 players you think that you should either keep or trade for if you have them.
Okay, well,
and like I said, this all just happened right before the show, guys.
I'm gonna go a top guy right off the bat. I'm gonna go Saquon Barkley.
Really?
Yeah, because I know he's been injured and everything, but we don't know what's gonna happen with that Giants offense. He's the one piece that is going to be there. So whether Daniel Jones is your quarterback, whether they trade up and get somebody else, maybe Teddy Bridgewater, we don't know. We do know that Saquon Barkley is going to be there. That offensive line is okay, but he's always shown that he can make it happen behind an average offensive line. I think if he stays healthy this year, he could be one of the top 3 players in fantasy.
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, a lot of people have forgotten about him. I have sent offers for him, and nobody's going to do it. And I understand. I wouldn't do it if I were, if you had the devil in your league too, I wouldn't want to be trading with him either. Yeah, another one that's injured that people, obviously say haven't forgotten. People remember this guy before they remember Saquon Barkley, before they both basically went down, would be Christian McCaffrey.
Yes, absolutely.
Sam Darnold's going to throw for 5,000 yards. 3,000 of them are going to come from Christian McCaffrey.
Maybe, yeah.
I mean, the offensive line in Carolina is not bad. I think
it's better than it was in New York.
Yes. And
it's the best offensive line he's had, the best weapons he's had.
His
best weapon he ever had in New York is over in Carolina right now in Robbie Anderson.
Oh my goodness gracious, I didn't even think about that.
Robbie Anderson's best year was that year before he came to Carolina, and Sam Darnold was his quarterback.
Damn, good. That's wow. Okay, so there's comfortability there. Okay,
Joe Brady's the OC. Look what he did with Joe Burrow at LSU. You've got a do-it-all weapon in Christian McCaffrey.
Yep. And
that offense could be electric this year.
They would benefit from getting another wide receiver, like another 1A, just because he lost Curtis Samuel, and he was a very nice, what I like to call that utility knife, that utility weapon, because, he wasn't a deep threat necessarily, but, these little mesh plays and ins and outs and stuff like that and quick slants, perfect for. What's another one you got there?
I'm going to go receiver this time, and I'm going to go Calvin Ridley from Atlanta.
Oh, yeah.
You've got Matt Ryan in your quarterback for at least 2 more years, I think. Julio's starting to decline.
No.
Calvin Ridley's going to slide right into that receiver 1 spot. He's going to be a top receiver in the NFC and in Dynasty. I think that's going to be a really good grab.
He surprised me. I mean, I think it was an injury in college and something else was the reason people had him sliding, and he fell to 19 or something like that, 19 or 20.
And I mean, he was on a loaded Alabama team, and he was the 3rd option, so that kind of helped.
Yeah, and Julio was also Alabama too, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they just been breeding these not them, but they've been just drafting this Alabama talent, and they've been doing really, really good. And they do have some, 2 to 3 others, say, sub wide receivers. So, yeah, I mean, even if they do decide to draft a quarterback at number 4, it's going to be beneficial for them having Calvin Ridley in this system developing, because he's young and he knows what it's like to be in a winning system. I mean, Atlanta is not a bad team here, guys. They really are not. Okay, so if I'm going to go wide receiver, I'm going to get flack from the Buck Report guys and from Bucks fans everywhere. But Mr. Slot himself, I think Michael Thomas is going to have a big year. And the only reason for it is because Winston, whether they put Winston or Taysom Hill in, and I said this last night on a show, I do not necessarily think that Teddy Bridgewater is a great quarterback. I don't think Winston is a great quarterback, and I don't think Taysom Hill is a great quarterback. I think they're met to good. I think they're playing in one of the most elite offensive systems that has ever existed in the NFL. That's plain and simple.
It's right up there with the greatest show on turf.
Exactly. And if they had the fear around the league would be if, the Saints were to actually land a Russell Wilson or Deshaun Watson and stuff like that. You have a wide receiver 1 there. And then you can literally just, 2nd and 3rd rounds, just draft running backs and wide receivers and offensive line and then just call it a day, because that defense is still sick. Michael Thomas is going to help any quarterback that's in that system. And if they don't draft a number 2, I mean, they got Troutman that they're probably going to start giving more time to, and that's going to be kind of fun. But man, it's Michael Thomas or GTFO, in my opinion, when it comes to the Saints. It's really the only offensive target that I want. I do want Taysom more than I want Jameis, but that's just me.
To me, if you can get Jameis to quit throwing picks, he could be up in that top half of the starters again. Easily. He threw for 5,000 yards.
See, the one thing about
turn down the picks, that's all.
I know. And the reason why he threw the 5,000 yards, though, is because the Bucs were playing from behind on almost every game. Because our defense, just like we're going to see around the league here, is the defenses if they're young and your corners are young and stuff like that, but you still have faith in them and you know what they're going to be and stuff like that. You keep them in the system and you let them go through all the flaws and stuff like that. Because if you're a rebuilding team or a team that just needs to develop, that's the way that you develop it. And I'm not trying to be a homer, but if we're just looking at recent history, look at the Buccaneers.
Yeah.
That defense went through hell for years. I mean,
not too long ago, it was one of the worst defenses in football.
It was the worst defense in football. It was so hard to be a Bucs fan. And now,
no, you don't get to talk about that. You don't get to talk about that.
and again, I brought that up on a show last night too. It's like it was only a year and a half ago that all of it, like I was still, football season, like driving to work, like woo. Let me go talk to all my football fans, woo, right?
Yeah.
And now, and it's not a shot at you, but it's like, your Lions are eventually going to get there, but your Lions are taking the right steps. And my last player I was actually going to say, and then I'll let you say one more, actually plays on your Lions. And DeAndre Swift.
I was seriously considering him there.
There's so many people I've seen in so many drafts, the fantasy footballers and all those guys, and just in my opinion, are not giving the respect that needs to be deserved when it comes to DeAndre Swift going into this next season.
I mean, it doesn't help that he played in that Matthew Stafford pass-heavy offense last year.
Right.
So, and they tried to force Adrian Peterson down our throats to start the season. To me, Swift is the RB1 easily.
Yep.
Goff is going to sling the ball around, but it's going to be a run-heavy offense. Yes. I really, truly believe it is.
If he can average, and this might sound bad to some people, but if he can average the two and a half catches, say, per game, and it's just because he's out there on the field because Goff is going to throw it, or it is just an actual pass down to DeAndre Swift. Swift is going to get 15 and a half to 18 carries per game in order to help Jared Goff. Because from my board, and I should have talked about this with you before the show. And I think, I'm gonna wait until we're offline because I'm still doing the 3.0 draft, which to anybody out there, our draft or our mock drafts will be available the Monday, I think I said, right?
Yeah, the Monday before the draft.
Yeah, the Monday of the week of the draft. Yeah. Our 3.0s will be out. And then obviously come showtime, we will have our own sheets and stuff like that. We can't win. I mean, if we do win, I think we'll just take everybody's name and draw it up like we did in the other shows.
Yeah. But it'll be fun to compare ours to everyone else's, I think.
Exactly. To see if we're actually the statisticians or whatever you want to call it that we claim to be.
Yeah.
The mock draft master, as I claim to be. So I am. But yeah, no, there is a trade, like a hypothetical trade that I had with the Lions and stuff like that. And we'll talk about that afterwards. But yeah, my last player that I had is just DeAndre Swift because I do like that jersey behind you, man. He's gonna do it, and it's gonna be awesome. I can't wait to see what he's gonna do. Give me one more player for you though, there, buddy.
So I'm kind of tossing up a few names here. I'm thinking Sam Darnold, as we talked about before, if we want to go quarterback.
Yeah.
Antonio Gibson in Washington. And I think that's where I'm going to go.
Yeah.
Because you've got a quarterback that's going to throw it all over the field. Ryan Fitzpatrick can make all the throws. It's going to open up everything. With Curtis Samuel, Terry McLaurin, and probably another receiver to be named from the draft. That's going to open up everything. There's not going to be 7-8 guys in the box. And that's going to open up for Antonio Gibson. You've got Brandon Scherf. You've got probably another offensive lineman or two to be drafted. I think that could be an electric offense.
Man, I'm holding to it, and I'm gonna hold to it. That when you're talking about the offenses that are going to be out there next year, that all it needs is just a gunslinger or like the proper type of quarterback to lead the way. Oh my goodness gracious. It's got to be the Washington football team. I mean, the Indianapolis Colts kind of got theirs already.
Well, I think that's still to be seen. I like the Carson Wentz fit, but we got to see if he's still broken or not.
I agree. On the flip side of that, though, again, what I also said last night on the show was there's teams that are going to try and mimic what the Buccaneers have done.
Yeah.
They're going to try and just build the team up, make sure the team is all good. And then
when the quarterback in.
Yep. And then when these other quarterbacks become available, like Russell Wilson or even a Derek Carr or Aaron Rodgers, but if we're just talking like elite statuses, like Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, like those are the three names that you are probably going to see become more available in the next couple of years here. So, Antonio Gibson. And hey, if you guys like Antonio Gibson, the only reason he had like 92 carries in college is because the other guy that he was playing with is coming up in this draft. And I absolutely love him in Kenneth Gainwell.
Yeah.
I cannot wait to see what Kenneth Gainwell is going to do. Same with Chuba. Man, we are Chuba lovers, supporters. He is going to be, I don't give a damn. He is going to be on my Dynasty team.
Yeah, we'll see. I might get him first.
No. I may do some unspeakable, like I'm not taking my third or fourth pick and doing that. That's just idiotic, Fulbert. But there's gonna be a race between me and you. I know, because someone's gonna see someone trade for the last pick of the first round, and they're gonna be like, they're not. Yeah. They're not. That's been a quick little Dynasty talk here, since it is kind of in the name. And that is why we do have a big fan base coming along. It's because we do have the Dynasty talk. But this is also a sports show, ladies and gentlemen. And we do like to talk about all of the sports. So what we are going to do now is we're going to talk about some of the trades that are going on. But first, it looks like we got some fans that want to say hi. So let's see what everybody's saying. Jonah, Robbie Anderson is the truth. He is. I cannot believe I totally forgot that he got that payday because he was the only receiver technically available that year.
Yeah.
And he had an amazing season. Like, I totally forgot about that. My God. Man, epic props. See, this is why I brought you along. Sorry, I just gotta write some stuff down here. LASIK eye surgery, Jameis is coming. Yeah, he's finally gonna see the Buccaneers jerseys on the other side and start throwing to them again, like he should have. I mean, that's just me. I don't want to say I'm a hater, but I kind of am. I guess I might as well own that.
You never want to see somebody that you drafted and everything go somewhere else and succeed. You never do.
Especially not in my division.
Yeah.
If he went, hold on. What's this one? 5,000 yards one way and probably 1,000 yards the other. I mean, not that much, but you're not wrong. You're not actually.
Well, that year, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, crap. Okay. If Winston was a Patriot, or had the Steelers actually just, I don't give a shit what Mark Madden says. You can bitch at Nick Citro all you want. Here's the real truth, Mark Madden. Nick Citro has got more sources in the NFL room than you got fucking jock straps of the old Bret Hart days. All right? Don't even try us. That being said, Jameis Winston could have been a Steeler. Yeah. And if Jameis Winston was a Patriot, I think it would have been a little bit more beneficial than the Cam Newton thing. That's just me. But I think there may have been, he wanted more money. When it comes to the Steelers, I think if he was in the Steelers and he was still behind Big Ben going into this next season, and you're just letting him epically develop with Mike Tomlin, that's where things start to get really, really interesting, because it's not necessarily going to be on him. It's going to be on the team. Like, if we look at Cleveland is Baker Mayfield all the way now, because they're running the damn ball all the time.
And he's really good off that play action. Right? He's really good faking that handoff, rolling out, and throwing on the run. That's what he's good at, and that's what they're doing now. And look, now he's a starter. Like,
yep, 6,000 yards. No, if he threw 6,000 yards in the New Orleans offense, I will never say a damn thing about Winston ever again.
Man, this makes me think of something. I saw this was way like probably 20. It was after the 2011 season because that's when like Stafford, Rodgers, Breeze, and Brady all threw for over 5,000 there.
Yeah.
And they were trying to guess how long it would take for somebody to throw for 6,000 yards.
Yeah. And
they were talking Peyton. They brought up Matt Barkley, which looking back now is hilarious. They did bring up Jameis. I remember that.
Yeah.
But just the fact that it was like in 2011, they're like, yeah, 6,000 yards is coming right away. And we're still at like low 5,000s. It doesn't surprise me one bit.
No. And
it's just funny to look at.
I mean, almost 5,600 is basically the record. And now with the 17 game season, if someone is on that Peyton Manning trajectory. Thank you. If you can get him to continue at that trajectory throughout a 17 game season, just anybody, Winston, Brady, anybody, you could probably get that 6,000 yards. Like, I would not be surprised if the first one to do it is Patrick Mahomes. Let's be completely honest. When Brady's gone in 30 years,
that sounds more like it.
Yeah. It can be done, and I think it will be done. Just like someone's going to break the all-time rushing record in the next little bit. And, the younger generation, let's see, finally, and be like, okay, it was done in this many games, though, right? And that's one thing that we do have to start looking at. Like, if someone broke the rushing record, and did it, and the first 4 weeks they have to sit because of an injury, that's where it starts looking like, wow, okay.
Well, Derrick Henry hit 2,000 yards this year and missed a game or two.
Exactly.
Adrian Peterson did it coming off a torn ACL.
And he was 8 fucking yards away.
Yeah.
And I get, like, everyone, I've talked about this before, and I actually had to go back and watch the game. People are like, hey, they actually were just handing him the ball.
I mean, they
tried. Like, they really did.
I mean, I'm a Lions fan, and I was cheering for him. Like,
right? Like, the clock ran out, Faubert. They could not keep it going. Sorry. So yeah, actually, before we get into the news and stuff like that, or like the Trade Center, I know you had some other news. So pop a couple of comments here first, and then we'll get into a couple of those, and then we'll start doing that. That is my name, Johnny Dean, the draft guru. I try. Like I said on a different show before, I strive to be one of those guys. Me and Alex, strive to be one of those guys that can get to the next level to eventually where we can work for somebody, where we can eventually maybe be in a war room. Because
that would be awesome.
If me and you were scouts or something like that for a team, like random shot in the dark, the Jacksonville Jaguars decide they want some Canadian influence, and they're like, hey, these guys have had a track record for 10 years. We're going to hire you guys to be some Canadian scouts. First of all, I would cry.
That would be awesome.
I think our families would be like, ah, shit. They did it. That being said, we strive to get there, and we do appreciate all the love and support that we get from you guys as the fans. And
absolutely.
The more that you guys can go flex to your guys' friends or coworkers and be like, hey, you want to see what I know coming up in this draft? They'd be like, oh shit, can it win me money? And be like, no, but it can help you win these things. Actually, I think you can gamble the draft.
There's
got to be a way.
At least prop bets. There's got
to be prop bets. All right, okay, let's go into a couple more here. That says nothing. Okay. Chuba Hubbard, remember that name, my American friends. The Canadian,
Hubbard's going to be awesome.
I want him on the Bucks so bad. I want him on the Bucks, or not. Okay, there's a couple of teams that I was looking at that just even depth. Go put him on the Jaguars.
Oh,
yeah, him and
James Robinson.
Thank you. Him and James Robinson together would be a nice 1-2 combo.
Yeah.
I even said, I was like, your Lions.
Man, I was thinking that. I've thought that for a couple weeks now.
1-2-3 combo. Someone goes down, he picks up the pace. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I even said Green Bay just because they do well with 3 running backs.
Okay.
And if he's got the health, and it's close to Canada, so because if he was going to be on a team near us, it's Seattle, and I don't want him on the Seahawks. I'm done with that.
I'd be okay with Denver.
Ooh, that would be good. What if he's on the bench? Chuba, yeah, I think.
And then that affects the draft position, obviously. I think he's talking to the Dynasty part.
That would be taxi squad then at that point. If you're talking Dynasty, yeah, you just throw him on the taxi squad and hope that he eventually will get some reps in the first year. So that way you can justify keeping him on your roster, not having to lose him in the off season.
And then that's like a second or third round.
Yeah.
Pick, like late second, early third.
Carl Williams is the truth. And Mark Madden is a cunt. Yes, I'm aware. And you're not wrong. Jameis and Ben are almost climbs.
I think he means clones.
Oh, clones. Except Jameis can't power through those sacks. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
I think the way that he's doing his workouts and stuff like that, I mean, he's trying. He is trying. He's trying to get better than what he was. So right now the Steelers are the 2018 Bucks. You're not wrong. The team is built and they're ready to go.
Yeah.
And they also got Canadians, and I love them. Speaking of Canada, Keith loves Canada. You're damn right you do. And you're going to love us pretty damn soon even more, Keith. Hey. What's up, my brother north of the border? Great show, sir. Thank you, Harry. Harry, let me know what you think of these bets that you see down here, my friend. We got 7 for the day. Also checked out the stats. I got to find a perfect way to actually get the stats in there. But the money that we've actually made, we actually have made some money. Now, remember, everybody, I've said I've put $2 bets on everything for every bet that we've done on every show. And the reason I had to drop some money in my account is because I spent all of it on a bet and I lost. Okay, I'm sorry. So I had to just add a little bit more. It's the way it goes, guys. And we are okay. So we as a show, and I remember this is only $2 bets, but we as a show, I do believe, if we're just talking money, are up $7.12. And again, if that's just couple of bucks here and there and stuff like that, we are 15 and 14. I got to remember putting that down in there. We're 15 and 14 going into today. Not necessarily say your traditional bets that we do all the time. What we do is we try to make some money here, but we also know that sometimes you want to make sure that if we're making money, we're still in the positive. We don't like to make money with a losing record. That's not what we do here. We make money with a positive record. So that's why 15 and 14 I'm okay with right now, because we're still making money.
Yeah.
So that being said, here's all the bets for today. We got the 7, and the one I am pretty confident in today for the money that is available is that Florida at Dallas. Florida to basically win by a goal and a half, so 2 goals plus 230. Dallas is good, but man, I know Florida had an injury, but Florida is not a team that you want to be, not considering to be a good team. This is a good team. They are going to be a dominant team here going forward. So, all right, Alex, before we get into more comments, we'll get those at the end of the day, at the end of the show. Give us some other news here, because we had some major stuff happen in baseball, did we not?
So last night, Joe Musgrove, who is a pitcher for the San Diego Padres, grew up in the San Diego area, threw the Padres' first no-hitter in the 53-year history of that franchise.
Damn.
Now every team in baseball has finally thrown a no-hitter. They believe, or I believe they beat Texas 3-0 last night, I think was the score.
I didn't see the score, but yeah, I saw that rolling through my timelines.
Some more baseball news. Dodgers pitcher Trevor Bauer is being investigated by the MLB for using foreign substances on the baseballs. Umpires grabbed a few of the balls, said they were sticky and had visible markings on them, so something like pine tar. They use it to get better grip, so when they go to throw their curveballs, sliders, all that, it gets better velocity, better spin, better movement. The MLB actually came out before the season and said they were going to hunt teams down on this, and a week into the season, we already have this going. So,
thanks, Astros.
And I mean, that's something that pretty much everyone does. It's just they're trying to stop it. Move on to some NFL news. Juju actually came out and said, Juju Smith-Schuster said that before he re-signed with the Steelers, he just about signed with the Kansas City Chiefs.
No, I would have hated that.
Me as well. Trevor Lawrence started throwing again after having surgery on his left shoulder, which means he should be ready to go in time for training camp, full strength, no issues there. Richard Sherman came out and said he doesn't expect to sign before the draft. Most of those veteran free agents that age, that worn down, they normally don't. He'll make an impact wherever he goes. It's just wait and see how the draft falls out. And the Sam Darnold trade. So that happened this week. The Jets traded Sam Darnold to the Carolina Panthers for a second-round pick next year and a 4th and 6th this year, I believe.
I think that's right. For a 4th and 6th this year and the second-round pick next year,
Yeah. Which to me, Carolina got an absolute steal, I think.
Yes, sir.
I think you try and re-sign him right away before he balls out and has a big season. We'll go to NBA. So Clippers guard Patrick Beverley broke his hand last night or the night before. He'll be out 3 to 4 weeks. So it should be back right in time for playoffs. Clippers also signed DeMarcus Cousins to a 10-day contract this week. Drew Holiday signed a big extension with the Bucks, 4 years, $134 million. Incentives can get it up to $160 million.
Okay, before you continue, though, do you think he's worth that? No. You don't, eh?
He's a good point guard. He's what they need. He's defensive, can move the ball, but that's too much for me. He's getting up into his 30s. These defensive physical point guards always start to slow down around this time. To me, that's a little rich. That's almost, with incentives, I can get up to $40 million a year. To me, if you're paying $40 million a year, you're getting, especially at the point guard, you're getting Devin Booker, you're getting Steph Curry, you're getting like Chris Paul, even though he's older, he's worth that much right now. To me, Drew Holiday, that's just a little too rich.
And see, that's one thing that we don't have, say, like the popular opinion on that on the internet, but I agree with you. Like, I understand that he's a great player and he does all the other things that, the stats don't show, but $40 million when you got Giannis and you're trying to go for a championship and still got to build a team around that.
Dumb. And then Gordon Hayward is out 4 weeks with a foot sprain. The Hornets are falling apart at the wrong time.
I know.
First the Melo Ball and then Hayward. This is a tough hit for them.
But they are going to come back next. Like, they may now be the place for some of these free agents that they may want to go to.
Yeah. I just thought about that Drew Holiday thing in the comments there. Jeff Rathwell, he's a big Bucks guy, so we'll see what he says about that. Then NHL news, obviously the big part of this show, the trade deadline on Monday, and the little Red Wings nugget, which sucks for the trade deadline coming up. Bobby Ryan has an upper body injury. He's done for the year.
Yep.
He was having a pretty decent year for us too.
Yeah, he amazing beginning of the season, and then he kind of, not to say slowed down or anything like that, but he kind of got into the groove that we all kind of figured that he should have been.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not too mad that if we got to have him on our roster next year. Really not. So, yeah.
Well, let's see if he comes back.
If he does, because he's only on the 1-year contract. So,
yeah.
I mean, I got no issue if we re-sign him to another 1 year and we dangle him at the trade deadline next year.
Same here, especially if it's that same $1 to $2 million. That's a steal for how he's playing.
Because also at the same time, too, guys, we are a Red Wings show. this is a Buccaneers show when it comes to NFL and a Lions show. That like we diehards on those guys.
Oh yeah.
And then when our teams have to play each other, we don't talk for a week.
Yeah, it's a lot of I hate you.
Well, screaming
don't talk to me.
work.
Don't look at me.
Scaring our coworkers like you did on Friday, yelling from across the room.
Oh yeah,
that was hilarious. So the other side of that is when it comes to hockey, we are Red Wings through and through. We do talk every other damn team, but as you see behind me, it's Datsuk. Next person that says that suck is going to get some of this dat sucking Canadians. No, I'm just kidding. As you can see from my collection board and stuff like that, it's all Red Wing stuff. As you see from the board behind me, it's all hockey basically stuff. I got my Buck stuff there. I put some more Buck stuff across to kind of fill all the other holes and this, that, and everything else. And when I get a better stand for my camera, then I'll eventually, be able to have the angles that I want. But for now, I deal with what I pay for. And listen, guys, to get some equipment for this show, it did cost us a pretty penny.
Yeah.
And we made sure that we had the right equipment and we weren't going to just, have all of our stuff, which we had all of our stuff and we're like, we can do it now. And we're like, we need to wait. We can't just rush into this. And even when we were about to start up, I was like, I still feel as though we're rushing into this because I don't know how to edit. But no, we are doing really, really good. And the fans here have been amazing.
Oh, yes.
So that has been the Loose More, No More News Corner. I'm going to find a word for that. I'm going to get like a little drum roll or something like that. Like Loose More with the news. Or something.
Okay, works for me.
I'll figure something out. I'm really good at figuring out stuff on the fly. Allegedly. Anyway, so let's get into some of this hockey talk. But before anybody is wondering, I got this little view here, this weird little view here. Why? Because I've hidden a North Sports logo somewhere in one of our screens. That's right. If you find it and you tell us where it is, and you're the first one to tell us where it is, you win assigned something.
And as we said before, it's not the one in the top right corner that's always there.
Yeah, it's not.
You've got to find another one.
Guys, it's not the one that you see on Alex's wall right now. Yeah. Okay? It's not there. Jesus. Anyways, so we're going to talk some trade deadline stuff here. We have been big advocates that, the Red Wings are going to trade, get as much picks, I guess you would say, as possible going into the next season. Any Red Wing fan out there knows we are not necessarily a great team. We are a building team with pieces.
Yeah.
We are going to look like the Tampa Bay Lightning. That's the inevitability.
We're a solid 2-3 years away before we start competing for a playoff spot.
Yes. And some of our prospects that we do have are absolutely amazing.
Yes.
I cannot wait to see what Moritz Seider is going to do.
Oh.
It's so nice knowing that, when I've looked at teams and I'm like, it'd be nice to have this player and this player. I've always wanted a Victor Hedman, and we have a nastier version of a Victor Hedman coming in. And that's just fucking brilliant to me. We have
Lucas Raymond, another Mitch Marner type.
I cannot wait for Lucas Raymond to be on a line with either Zadina or Mantha, or even just to see what he would do with Larkin.
Yeah.
It's going to be a nice team to see. It'd be interesting to see what we are going to do in the draft this year. Like, I know there's not many top heavy goalies, and I still do wish we would have had a Spencer Knight or an Askarov. And I was asked in a comment section before, would you rather have Moritz Seider at 6, or would you have rather have taken Spencer Knight there at 6? And I'm like, that's
tough.
A tough one. It is a tough one because I do love Moritz because we do have him and you see the highlights, but like Spencer Knight is already going to be getting his contract, like an entry level contract, a year or two earlier than expected. So he is playing really fucking good.
Yeah.
So,
really good. Let's go watch the World Juniors.
Oh man, I even told the fiance when we were watching that, I was like, listen, the goalie for the United States is not someone that we can just easily score for. It's not Spencer Knight was not just an easy fucking goalie to score on. Like, though he had one bad-ish game.
Yeah, I wouldn't have even called it bad. Like, it's just okay.
And the Canadian team that they had was a number 1 overall pick. The first and second line, I believe, was all first or second rounders at least. Like, I don't care what my American friends say. Canada is always the top when it comes to the prospects and stuff like that. You may have like the 1 or 2 in Sweden or the United States, Finland, all that kind of stuff. Russia. But when you talk about Russia, and then when you talk about, you know, like the top prospects, like who's got the most, it's always Canada. We just breed the most, and it's awesome, but it does suck when we lose. Okay, and it's even worse when it's a fucking number 1 basic overall pick goalie who's going to a team that has already 2 freaking good goalies.
Yep.
I don't like Florida. The Panthers. I love Florida, the state. I've never been there. But okay, so let's talk some of these trades here. I got the banners. I got them. So I think if we go from the first one that technically happened the other day to now, pop it up on the board here. We got the Islanders have acquired Cal Palmieri and Travis Zajac and Vanna White. I think that's such a dad joke, and I'm sorry, guys. Sending to the Devils in return was AJ Greer, Mason Jobst, a 2021 first-round pick, and a 2022 fourth-round pick. The Devils also retain 50% of the contracts that Cal Palmieri and Travis Zajac have had.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a home run for the Islanders. Oh, my God.
And I didn't actually think that this trade would happen because they're in conference, you know?
Yeah.
Not necessarily this year, I don't think off the top of my head, but I know in the other, like when the league goes back to the way it is, that is. So
yeah.
I think
actually, I think they're the same division even. Oh, no, they're not.
Okay.
Wait, yeah, they are. Yeah, they are.
They are? Okay, perfect. So that's the other side. It's like, you know, the 2 New York teams ish are making the trades, and that first rounder that's there. I think the reason that's there is because of that 50% salary retaining.
It's not going to be a good pick anyways, though. Like, if you're the Islanders, yeah, give that up. Your contending team right now, you got those 2.
Mm-hmm.
Like, look at the damage the Islanders did last year in the playoffs, and you're only adding.
Yeah.
Like, the Islanders are a dark horse cup contender right now. Like,
and you know what? I don't even think it necessarily, like, people may say dark horse, but I don't even think they should be declared a dark horse. Like, this should be one of the favorites to be winning it. Yeah. They went, hold on. They went toe to toe with Tampa Bay to go to see who went to the finals last year, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
What was the actual series here? I'll look it up.
Okay, I want to say it was 4-2.
I think you're right.
So I remember that 6th game being relatively close, and Barry Trotz won a cup with the Washington Capitals with a similar team that just had, you know, like the one elite player with Ovechkin. So
yeah, and it was 4-2. You're right.
Okay, it was 4-2.
Yeah.
See, that's what we are, ladies and gentlemen. We check some of the things that we say as well, but we also are Canadian. We kind of have to know these things just at the top of our head. The Islanders have been around for a couple of years. I thought the Blue Jackets would have done more of what the Islanders are doing this year, just in regards to wins. But Barry Trotz, as soon as he went to the Islanders, I knew, like, the Islanders are going to be contenders. They may get laughed at a few times here and there, but they're going to be a team to be reckoned with here.
Yeah, and they're still a young team. They're still fairly young.
So their top 3 players on that team would be Barzell.
Would you throw Anders Lee?
Yeah, Anders Lee. What's their defenseman that's really good there? Dobson? Noah Dobson? I know he's a prospect they have.
Yeah.
But it's just a team. It's a built team across the board that they have. And Varlamov as a goalie with the backup is really good too. Like, it's a stacked team. I'm pretty sure they got, what the heck's his name? The old captain from Winnipeg there. Andrew. We got hockey fans screaming at us right now. Like, come on. But yeah, like, again, this Islander team is ready to win now. They're built to win now. Yeah. I even would say they would probably beat Pittsburgh. More than likely give Washington. I would rather see Washington and them play to see who's going to the finals. I don't think Tampa Bay is going to go as deep this year, but I'm not going to get into that technically right now because it's trade day and I don't need to get yelled at by all the Tampa Bay fans who are watching. Yeah. So let's get to this next trade. So the Florida Panthers have sent Brett Connolly, a forward, a defenseman Riley Stillman, another forward, and Henrik Bjorkstrom, and a 2021 7th rounder. And in return, they get Lucas Carlson and Lucas Wallmark, a defenseman and a center. Now, I think this one was more for like the cap. You know what I mean? Like, it's just some bodies going around to make some money work, and they still want to keep some players for a playoff run on both ends, but obviously not giving anything too much away.
Yeah, these are all like middle of your roster guys.
Mm-hmm. Henrik Bjorkstrom is really the only name of, say, besides Brett Connolly, I guess, but like they're all of relevance. I shouldn't say that, but Henrik Bjorkstrom is the only one that has any real high upside, and I don't think that that's necessarily going to happen. So it's just a trade for cap spaces and all that kind of stuff. The other one that happened, this was yesterday. It doesn't seem big, but it kind of is because I do like Riley Nash. So Riley Nash goes to Toronto Maple Leafs. Maple Leafs. The Blue Jackets get a 7th rounder in 2022 in return.
That's a good 3rd or 4th line forward for them. And I think it just shows that there's more moves to come for them. Yeah,
it's depth and it's cheap. And I know Kyle Dubas, you know, he likes having those nice, cheap depth players. Yeah. I know he likes having the young talent. Obviously, every team likes having the young talent. But Toronto, this is my early prediction right now. I think the 4 Canadian teams that are getting in, obviously, barring any major injuries and stuff like that, I think you're going to get Toronto first in the division, Edmonton second, Winnipeg third, and then Montreal is going to get in 4th.
Yeah.
If you think Toronto fans are here thinking that it's going to be an easy road, it's not. I do think you're probably going to get like 4-2'd in the first round.
I think Montreal goes to Game 7.
Fair. I would still take Montreal. I would even bet on it too, just because I think there would be money to be made there.
Playoffs comes down to the goaltenders.
Yep.
Plain and simple. And Carey Price is the better goaltender.
Oh, yeah. And then I literally can hear Maple Leaf fans yelling in my ear. And I don't even have a microphone or anything else in my ear. It's literally just these headphones that's connected to me and Alex. They're yelling at me through the internet. Like, we have 10-0, Jack Campbell. You don't know what you're talking about, Ginger. You're a Maple Leaf hater. You always have been. You hate Ontario sports. Fuck you. You're right. Fuck Maple Leafs. But it only lasts for so long. Lasts for so long. And I hate to say it, but this is a good trade. This is the trade we're talking about. This is a good trade.
Yeah.
It's depth. That's all it is. Colorado and Detroit made a trade. Fucking Avalanche.
Yeah. It's getting the guy that knows their system. Nemeth was on their team until we signed him in like 2019.
Yep. And then now he's going to go back and we get a 4th rounder out of it. This is basically what Yzerman does here, guys. He makes these trades he gets returns because he knows this team isn't great. He knows that right now.
Yeah.
We know that this is a rebuilding team. Bernier is probably going to be gone here soon.
Probably Helm. Maybe Mark Stahl.
I think if anyone, Mark Stahl is probably going to, and I've heard we might get a second rounder for Mark Stahl, and I'm like, how awesome would it be?
Glendenning's probably gone.
Glendening was another one. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if the Oilers, that's one of the trades that I was going to say, like just as a hypothetical. I do think that the Oilers are going to trade for Glendening.
Okay.
It's just depth. It's the familiarity with Ken Holland. Yeah, I know I can't speak when it's okay, guys. I smoke cannabis. And I know sports. Okay, I smoke cannabis. I know sports. I rep stats. I rep analytics, and I don't know how to speak sometimes. That's just the way it is. See, now I don't know what the hell I was talking about. I think the familiarity is what is going to be the beneficiary here when it comes to the Oilers with the Red Wings. Like, you may get Helm and Glendening coming in for like a third. You might even get Bernier as as a backup. You know what I mean? And put Koskinen as like the third stringer. Who knows? I think there's going to be a trade that happens between Detroit and Edmonton before the trade deadline goes.
Yeah, probably.
Alex, give us a couple of trades that you think might actually happen.
Looking here at Taylor Hall's going to go to one of these contenders. I've heard Edmonton.
Okay.
Man, if they could work out the cap, him on Carolina would be fun.
Do you want to hear a funny trade that I heard at work?
What's up?
You imagine if the Oilers traded Adam Larson for Taylor Hall's trade?
Let's run that one back. Oh my god, that would be hilarious.
And no salary retention, no nothing. Like, straight up same trade that it was before.
Oh,
I would die.
That's gross.
What else you got? Sounds awesome.
I'm looking at the list here, trying to see who I think's actually going to be moved. I do like that Glendening to Edmonton one. That's a good fit.
Yeah.
Bernier, maybe. I don't know. Like, Boston could use that second goaltender.
Toronto could use another backup.
Yeah, Bernier back to Toronto.
I was going to say, I do like the idea of just getting a bunch of random picks for sending players back to their original teams.
Yeah.
Or not original teams, but teams they played for.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that.
I'd have no issues with that whatsoever. Give me another fourth rounder and send Bernier to the Maple Leafs. Didn't he go like 0-10 with them?
Sorry?
Didn't he go 0-10 with them?
Bernier?
Yeah, to like start one season.
Oh, maybe. Like, he was pretty bad for him back then.
Yeah. It'd be a nice balance for Jack Campbell, it seems like.
Yeah. Maybe Nikita Zadorov to Boston. They need that. Or Toronto, they need those defensemen.
That's true.
Now, really, any of these kind of like mid-tier forwards, Foligno, Granlund, like there's a lot of players that could potentially go to like the same 3 or 4 teams. Like,
it's funny that you brought up Foligno, because one trade that I thought of, and until the Devils acquired that first round pick, the only other team that had 2 first round picks going into this next draft was the Minnesota Wild. Because they get Pittsburgh's from last year, because Pittsburgh decided to keep it, which I thought was kind of dumb, but it's neither here or there. Minnesota could dangle Pittsburgh's pick and try to go for Nick Foligno.
That would be a good move for them, a really good move.
And I know a lot of people have said too, like the Taylor Hall thing would make sense. I think that Minnesota has always done well building their, say, elite talent from within.
Yeah,
trading for the playoff pushes that they usually do have, and signing free agents that they know fits their system, like the Zach Parise, Ryan Suter trade of way back in the day.
Yes,
it looks amazing when they're winning, and it looks really shitty when they're not winning.
Yeah,
But when right now they're winning. And they got that kid whose name is like Zabril or whatever his name is. I can't remember. The Russian kid that's just lighting it up. It looks like a little Datsuk in a Minnesota Wild jersey.
Yeah.
And they're on a playoff run here, guys. Like the standings I got right here as well. So if we look at the Canadian standings first, Leafs are atop, Oilers first, Jets second, Canadians third. I think that's the basic way it's going to end. That's just me.
Yeah.
I don't see Calgary or Vancouver. I mean, it's Vancouver. You're going to play any more games.
They came out and said yesterday or today that they still expect to play the last 19 games of their season.
Oh, my God.
I don't know when they're going to play them, but.
Yeah, good question. This is the other division here. Avalanche on top, Golden Knights, and there's the Wild. The Wild got 50 points. Like, they've become a actual contending team now, which I find to be funny.
That's part of the reason why if I'm looking at Minnesota, I don't know, and same with St. Louis there. I don't know if you really make any moves here. I think you stand pat with the players you got. Like St. Louis has a bunch of players coming back from injuries and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I think the teams are good enough as is. Stand pat.
You think San Jose, just looking at the points there, you think San Jose would do something to try and get better there if they're only basically 4 points away from a playoff spot?
I don't think so, because I think if you look at it, it's going to be the top three there and then one of these last two. I don't think the Sharks have the firepower unless they make a big trade. I think it's going to be a big splash that they need to get into that playoffs. And it's like I said, St. Louis, they're getting Tarasenko back. They're getting their studs back right away.
Yeah. And I mean, the Kings were at one point, I believe, third or fourth.
Yeah, they were on a hot streak there for a bit.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't like this division because it's all fucked up. So here's the Islanders division. They're basically tied with the Capitals right now, the same record. I think it goes to goals for, obviously.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh being there is obviously a top contender. They're starting to get hot at the right time. Same with the Bruins. The Rangers. Oh, excuse me. The Rangers are as well getting hot, but I think you're in the wrong division and you've lost a couple of early games to kind of help you out here.
Well, and look at the games played. Boston's got 3 games on them and they're 5 points ahead.
Exactly.
So it's going to take a collapse from the Bruins.
Look at those goals for, though. Like, my God.
Yeah.
Got like 20 more goals than them. And then the last division here on the east side, Hurricanes are on top with the Lightning in second and tied with the Panthers. Man, those Panthers are good. And the Predators have obviously came out of nowhere for this little bit of the season. If I could only make this ticker a little bit bigger and we wouldn't even have to show our Red Wings.
We're not the Sabres.
We're hot.
We've at least won 10 games.
Where are the Sabres? Is that the
just
Sabres?
back there, yeah.
My goodness gracious.
Yeah.
24 points. We got 32. So are we still in that? I'm just double checking all the rest here. Ottawa. Okay. Damn them. Fucking Ottawa.
Yeah.
But yeah, Blue Jackets have been the biggest disappointment of the season for me anyway. I thought they were going to do a lot better. Last 2 seasons.
Yeah, Dallas is another big one for me.
That early season COVID hit, I think, affected them, and I think I think eventually they'll get it back. But
not having Sagan for most of the season hurts too.
And I don't see them making any trades. If anything, I can see them making a trade to take one of their players out to allow one of the younger guys in, but I don't see them doing anything for the playoffs here.
Yeah. They're gonna wait for next season. They're gonna reboot and get ready to go.
The only other out of all these teams, the only other team that I can see making another trade, like a trade to get some depth or something for the playoffs, I would like to say Colorado,
Arizona?
but I doubt it. Nah. Arizona is so dysfunctional. I think they're just happy to be where they're at right now.
Yeah.
People are talking about, there's a Canadian talking about the Arizona Coyotes right now. Love them. Follow them on Twitter.
I think Colorado and Vegas are 2 big buyers right now. They're gonna try and get one of these top pieces that they can slide right in and make that push. I think.
Interesting. See, and I think it would be more Toronto, and I know a lot of people are.
Yep. Toronto's my number 1 buyer on my list.
Yeah, and a lot of people say, "Oh, they got no cap." Well, they can make it work. We've always seen it, and it's halfway through the season, so the cap hit is not as bad as what it could have been. So
yeah, absolutely.
And the only other trade that I saw out there, this was from the Winged Wheel podcast, and one of their hosts found this on Twitter. It was a hypothetical trade, just based off of the performances of each player, that it would be beneficial for each other to be in a new home. It was us sending Dennis Schalowski to Buffalo for Middlestat.
Okay.
And the reason why is Middlestat was a first-round pick who's obviously not panning out as well as he could be, but put him in the Red Wings organization, all of a sudden you may have another Robbie Fabry.
To me, we're weak on defensemen, though. Like, to give up another improving young defenseman, that's hard for me to swallow here. Like,
And I agree, because I do like Schalowski. I really do.
I like having him and Sider coming up, and like that's an amazing build to a young defensive core. Like,
give me a side of cider. I'm gonna need a side of cider. Cider. And then one of the last things I wanted to put up here in the show, ladies and gentlemen, is just how long it would take me to get to the top of Florida. I just want to get down. You see how I would go around Alabama? Going through Alabama. Not happening. I'm sorry. I love all the states except Alabama. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get to some of these comments again, because, we have a lot of fans who tuned in today. Going back to the other ones, Johnny Ditz, what's up, Harry Berg, my man, Johnny D, the professor. They're talking to each other in our damn comment section. Canadian, eh? Dang right, Harry. We always Canadian, pure Canadian, unless something happened along the lines and we've been lied to our whole lives, but I don't think that's what happened. Wake up all day as some of those Canadian folks talking. It's true. It's true. We do it early here for our Canadians, but I like the time slot for my American friends, because on Saturdays they're just getting off their lunch. They got nothing to do.
Yeah.
Tune in here on the East Coast. Gamble? Did someone say bet? Yes. Down there at the bottom there. Oh, Johnny had us covered. Check out ticker at the bottom of the screen. Harry, I don't know how the bets are doing right now. I think one game is about to start, or already has. I think that's the Boston game.
Okay, yeah.
But I put all of the results on Twitter. I've also kept a bunch of, receipts, just in case anybody has ever been like, I want to see Faubert actually put the money down for these bets. It's like, okay, I got a whole list here for you then. You want all 40 of them right now? Andrew's favorite player, Claire. He was until he went to the fucking Texans. Texans are just bringing in Canadians. I remember when I liked the Texans. I don't know.
When you had Watson and Hopkins and Watt, and
they were fun to watch. They
were really fun to watch.
They were, my second team, but I think I'm just going to leave that second team spot open for Buffalo and Seattle, and hopping on bandwagons when Minnesota or your Lions start doing good.
For me, it's the Rams now. I got to hop on the Stafford bandwagon.
That's fair.
They can push the Bills down. The Bills were my second this year.
That's fair. Yep. Stephanie Loosemore, Timmy's on NSD. Yeah. I love my NSD. And I love my coffee from Timmy's. Drew is better than 40 Eric Bledsoe.
This is what I was talking about.
20 mil did not have Bledsoe.
That's okay. If you want to put it that way.
That's a great comment. That's a really
This is how most of my conversations with him go when we're talking this kind of stuff.
Oh my god. Oh, Johnny. I'll talk to you tonight on the Miscreant show. There you go, bullshit my ass. Hey, just remember that the Cronwell suspension should have never been a suspension.
Yeah.
I'll always hold true to that. Look up Red Wings on Pornhub.
Probably shouldn't.
Babe!
No.
I'm going to write that down. I'm going to put that in the 2-minute teaser. It's not the ones you see. It's the ones you only see with the help from animals. I I do like my edibles. I really do. And then man, you guys are gold for trolls. I live hockey names. I think hockey names. Well, yeah. We are Canadian geniuses.
Do we want to go that far? Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that has been episode 4. That's right. We are 4 deep into the new season. Mr. Loosemore, tell all these beautiful fans where they can find you.
All right. So on Twitter, it's at Loosemore65. Always retweeting sports stuff. That's all it is, literally. And then Facebook is just plain and simple Alex Loosemore.
Yeah. Same thing with me. Twitter at Andrew_Faubert. And as I say on every show, you can find this show on every social media platform: Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. If we ever eventually branch off into somewhere else, we'll obviously add that to the namesake. Absolutely. Always a shout out to our friends at Heartbeat Hot Sauce Company. Shout out to Dylan Ignace for always contributing to some of the greatest tastes. One day I'll have him up on the show and he'll be able to tell a beautiful story. It's a quick story and he'd be like, it's a 2-second story, but I'm going to make it into like this brilliant 30-minute story and just add a bunch of extras of how the Heartbeat Hot Sauce Blueberry Habanero came to be. To all of our fans who won stuff, it's coming. We're just getting appropriate prices and trying to figure out, like, it's a little cheaper to get it towards you guys there. So
yes.
But to the fans who obviously live here, they've gotten theirs. Except for Jose, I still got your hot sauce. I'm sorry. We're getting it figured out. But thank you all for tuning in today and subscribing. We got more subscribers on YouTube, which was nice. A lot of comments today. A lot of shares, which is also awesome. We are growing this platform. There's really nothing else to say besides find the logo. Where the hell is the logo? Want to win some extra stuff? Just tell me where the logo is. And we're not talking the one at the top right corner here, guys.
One thing quick, when I was looking at subscribers and stuff on YouTube.
Yeah.
Apparently, and this is NFL draft related. Apparently, Washington wants Trey Lance.
Yeah.
They might be willing to move all the way up to probably it would have to be 4.
Yeah.
If he's still there.
See, once this show ends, we have something to talk about.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for tuning in. Remember to subscribe. Remember to like and follow us on all social media platforms. Follow us, us personally. Go check out the website, northsportsdynasty.com. All the extra shows are up on there. They're up on the YouTube page. We're going to be updating after the draft our new draft positions, updates of rankings and stuff like that with all the players in the NFL.
Yes.
We'll have some more articles coming your way here really, really soon. Obviously, we got our first initial batch out of the way, and we're just trying to come up with some new stuff here to keep you all entertained.
Yep.
So thank you all again. I love you all. From north of the border, we are North Sports Dynasty, and we will talk to you next week and see you abroad, the social media platforms. Thank you again. Have a great afternoon. Ciao, ciao for now.